Here's Border Czar Tom Homan talking about the deported children.
If you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in this country legally, you put yourself in that position. You put your family in that position. What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested the children depart with them. This was a parental decision. Parenting 101. The mothers made that choice. And I tell you what, if we didn't do it, the story today would be Trump administration separating families again.
Lawyers for the family said the mothers did not make that choice. But
you did separate families.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tom.
So the White House line is basically, these weren't deportations. These were mothers who chose to take their kids with them. You just heard Homan. But the Trump judge in Louisiana said in his ruling, basically, that he couldn't take that into account until the administration actually proved it in court.
The process is a rush disaster, and the Trump administration doesn't really care. I mean, here, Tom Homan there, he's just so unapologetic about the human suffering involved in this. I think they think it's the price of doing business. It's similar to what we saw with the Venezuelans who were sent to El Salvador, who were just people who had tattoos, who were clearly not members of a gang in 90% of the cases. Apparently, ICE threatened to arrest the dad, too.
Yeah.
And the dad was allowed a 1-minute conversation with the mom while she was in custody before they were deported. I mean, the cruelty is the point has become a cliche, but clearly they are rushing this process because, as we've read, there's a goal of deporting 1 million people this year. I think Tom Homan said today they've deported 138,000 so far, so they're behind schedule. So they're just moving as quickly as they can.
I don't know if you saw this story. It happened, I think, over the weekend or just before the weekend of somebody took a wrong turn and ended up crossing into Canada. And he was doing Uber Eats and gets picked up. It's not clear if it was purposeful or just an error, but then the family can't find him. Turns out he is in El Salvador, even though he wasn't on the record, so I guess they corrected that. And of course, the Department of Homeland Security and the spokesperson, who was consistently lying throughout this whole process, like, no, Trinidad, got him. And the family is like, this is not true, and we're desperate to get in contact, only because the New York Times investigated to get this information. And what I've realizing as just watching all of this unfold is how competence is part of how you show empathy in a society. That mistreating people this way, whether cruelty is the point or just ham-fisted fucking morons, doesn't really matter because they are being so callous and reckless with people's lives.